So food, movement, and sunshine is your medicine now. Tell me about that.
I agree that we live in a world with, especially in America, with a quite messed up healthcare system and all of the disease and the ailments and the issues. Kobe's coming to say hello because he agrees, huh? You eat food and get into sunshine and you're just fine. That's all we need. um, Now I'm all distracted with the dogs. um, where it was, if you have an issue, here's a pill, here's a treatment, here's a slew of treatments to cover up that issue so you're free from disease. Where it became an approach of let's keep people alive. And we do not live in a society where we want people to thrive and using whole food. I mean, cavemen existed and survived just fine without a healthcare system, right? Like we have mammalian brains that are wired for survival way before a hospital was even built. And yes, there were practical reasons for the healthcare system to be built, like you were just saying, and lots of positive benefits to that. And it kept developing to a place where we lost trust in our innate ability to heal and thrive. And this relates to a lot of things we were talking about earlier, where we were seeking it outside of ourselves instead of within us. So, going back to the roots of it all, which is Mother Nature, whole foods, sunshine that comes up every single day that is free, using our legs to walk around to support our digestion, our health, our hormones, our everything, to feel our best, way more beneficial than going somewhere where they find a problem in you to and then they help you overcome that problem to survive.
When you work with people and you work with the clients, right? Where do you find most of them are, and then what do you usually do as the first steps for them to improve? I'm sure all of them are different and have different needs and whatnot. I could only imagine, but just kind of in general.
Yeah, 1000% correct. Everyone comes from a different place needing different things. Overall, the biggest thing people are searching for, whether they know it or not, is what I talked about in my own transformation and journey, is they want to feel good. We want to wake up every day and feel good and live a life that we actually enjoy instead of living for somebody else in the now I can't say the word, mundane, automatic things. And the reason that they do not feel safe and secure in their bodies and are making choices and following through with those choices in a way that feels aligned to them is because their body is sick, because they are not eating whole foods and they're eating chemicals and all of those things, which is a whole nother story. They are not moving in their bodies either in a healthy way or in a way that feels good to them. Maybe they're using exercise as an extreme to cope with some internal dysfunction, or they're not moving at all because we live in America where most of the population works a desk job and, has their butt in a chair. Or they are addicted to social media and TV, so they don't sleep enough at night. So then their hormones are dysregulated. I call it survival mode. 99% of the clients that come to me are living in survival mode, where they're not eating enough whole foods or they're not eating enough in general to fuel their body. And they're not resting enough, they're not moving enough, they're not getting any sunshine. So they are actively in fight or flight, high cortisol, high adrenaline. Their body's starting to give up because it can't keep those high levels. And that's where we see the fatigue, the mental fog, the loss of cognitive functioning, body starts to fail. And then we don't even want a different life. We just know that we don't like the one that we're living.
So they become addicted to a life they don't even love or like, for that matter.
And then we're raised in a society that says, go to the doctor. The doctor is going to say, oh, you have this problem with your kidneys, or oh, you have high blood pressure. Here is a medication that will lower that blood pressure on this one test. Look, we solved it. But now, oh, your kidneys are failing because of all this medication that we put you on. So now it's just, and then it's like a snowball effect.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's so crazy and it's so weird to watch. One thing that's fascinating about living in Japan is so there's a Chinese medicine called Kampo, but Japan and Okinawa, which is where I live, it's kind of like the Hawaii of Japan, so it's like very far away from the mainland. They also have their own Kampo, Kampo. And when I go to the Western medicine doctor in like the pharmaceutical doctor, classic doctor, right, in Japan, and they give me a prescription, they actually give a Kampo and a Western pharmaceutical prescription, and then they give you the option to choose both. And compo is very herbs based, um, and it's not. I wouldn't say it's like raw, vegan or just like food is medicine. It's still like medicine, but it's not synthetic pharmaceutical. It's just totally different. But I didn't even know that was like a thing until I had gotten there. First of all, I'd never heard of compo. Second of all, I didn't realize that this is like the regular doctor, the regular hospital, right, is providing this. And I happen to always take the compo and it works totally fine, but it's just made entirely different. And it's based on an entirely different model of the human body. Very holistic, kind of along the lines of what you do. The body as a system made up of multiple individual systems that work together, which is what we call human beings, right? I didn't know that. I thought that was fascinating. And I thought it was fascinating that it existed, but I thought it was even more fascinating that it was so commonly prescribed by even Western medicine doctors. And that's all I take now. If I get like a headache or whatever, if it's not that crazy. If it's like a really bad headache, then I'll take a compo thing. Again, you're talking about like herbs. And if it's not even that bad and I'll just ignore, I'll drink a ton of water, right? So for you, what do you find as some of the most common challenges that your people have with diet and food in general? Because that's another topic that I think people can overcomplicate and get crazy. And by the way, I'm a crazy person in this subject. Like I'm a crazy person. Like I'm the only guy you've ever met that I genuinely drink lukewarm coffee. Right? I make hot coffee and I put 3 ice cubes in it to have lukewarm coffee. It's not iced coffee, it's lukewarm coffee. It's not the same. So like I'm a weirdo in this sense, and then I filter my water and all that. But
Yeah.
what are the but not everyone has to do that. That's just kind of my
Yeah.
thing because I burn my tongue if it's whatever. Anyway, help me.
You're right. It's not complicated. We love to complicate it because talking about supernormal stimuli, the very complicated specific diet where you have to get rid of all of these things or this one thing's going to save you, like that's really enticing because it's like that big big promise. What it really takes from a diet perspective is eat whole foods, things that are naturally occurring by Mother Earth that grow from the ground, lean protein sources, preferably wild caught or grass fed. Don't eat too much and eat the rainbow. Balance your protein, carbs, and fats. But guess what? We also have supernormal stimuli that live in the food industry. Everything on the aisles of the grocery store, I would say 87% of the things in the aisles that come in a package that you have to open or have a food label have sugar in them. And sugar is a whole nother rabbit hole we can go down. Supernormal stimuli give us that dopamine rush. So then guess what? When we're eating the cereal or even the oatmeal from a package or the yummy teriyaki chicken bowl that we popped in the microwave from the freezer aisle, even that has sugar in it. So when we eat a salad with chicken and avocados, what the heck? It's never going to taste as good. And it's never going to take us to that place. And so that's why people get so stuck in the cycles. And we can go on the neurotransmitter level too of the dopamine rush. But if we're just talking about the stimuli again, the whole foods that are actually very healing and give us everything we need are never going to be as exciting as the gosh dang big packaged Chips Ahoy or whatever it is that people like to eat. But it's nobody wants to do the boring stuff.
What do you find that when people dive into the whole foods, that they're, I don't know if it's, again, I'm not a nutritionist or a scientist necessarily, but like that is, if it's dopamine levels that decrease when they stop eating so much sugar and super normal stimuli. Do you find it that like it's boring at first and then later it's like I don't want to eat anything but this, or do you find it like it's never as good as the gummy bears?
Yeah, it's really cool to see the progression because with any addiction, the whether we could argue this all day, but the best way to get over something that you're addicted to, mentally or physically, is cold turkey. Like the whole weaning things off, like it just is painful and it's just dragging. So I love to get my clients on a whole food diet as fast as possible, cold turkey, all of the crap, and then go through like a really uncomfortable phase where your body is getting rid of all the toxins, where yes, it's boring and you don't want to eat the same thing every day because that gives you no stimulus in your body and it's the back to the non-sexy stuff. And as soon as they get over that hump of ridding their bodies of the toxins, the inflammation goes out, the sugar's out of their body, their brain is no longer addicted to the sugar and the dopamine. My clients send me messages all the time of, I was offered this, I was given this, I was put in an environment, all my girlfriends, we were getting ice cream. I just finished this big race and then we were going to celebrate. I didn't even want to eat that because I knew how it was going to make me feel. And that is the magic sauce that the entire health and fitness industry is missing. Instead of shaming of you shouldn't eat that because it's bad for you and it's going to make you fat or whatever the fear-based tactic and the shame-based tactic is, I approach it from I'm going to prove to you how good you're going to feel on whole foods that you're not even going to want to feel that way anymore. Because I mean, yeah, we're going to eat the ice cream every once in a while. They text me the next morning, my face is really swollen and I don't feel good. Versus, I hate myself because I ate ice cream. And then we create that evidence of how we feel. So then it is crazy to see they don't even desire it anymore because they don't want to feel that way. And that's the most impactful piece I think that I play in the coaching industry, is coming from that empowerment place where my clients now make decisions based upon how they want to feel versus hyper fixating on that end result.
What's going on, guys? If you like that clip right there, you will love the full interview. You can check that out right there. I'll see you on the next video. Oh, and subscribe because we got a lot of big things coming up in the near future.